Hello, YouTube listeners. This is JV Fain. Today I'm here with Mr. David Rosen. And Mr. Rosen and two other gentlemen who are not here today are trying to call general elections, I guess, in the UK.
Eventually, yes.
Yes.
We expect to be allowed to call one as well.
Okay.
We are the people.
Filed with Whitehall and all the appropriate paperwork. His running partners are Mr. Fritz and Mr. Patel. And so I'm just going to let Mr. Rosen talk today and tell us some of why they think they would be better than what's in government right now, and some of their plans that they would implement should they win an election and get in office. So go ahead, Mr. Oh, first of all, do I have permission to film you and post you on YouTube?
Yeah.
And just so the audience knows, I do have adverts on my channel, advertisements. They have nothing to do with Mr. Rosen. YouTube puts them on, and they put on whatever advertisements they want. So the adverts that show up on my YouTube channel have absolutely nothing to do with their campaign or them in any way whatsoever. Alright, so, okay, well, to start out, what's this about the free food?
Well, food should be free, shouldn't it?
So how's that going to work? If you guys get elected, how are you going to provide everyone free food?
Well, the planet already does that for us. We're just going to allow that to happen.
Okay.
There's a waste of space going on, like, unbelievably. We're using the wrong food in the wrong places. We're growing food for cattle that would feed like significantly higher amounts of people in an efficient system. Completely unsustainable. We're letting it rot. We've got to change, and we know the food's all there, and whatever it takes needs to be done, and that's it.
I've always thought a problem in general is people, what they landscape their yard with, when they could be landscaping it with food growing plants, and they put
concrete,
poisonous non-edible plants, rocks, or concrete, which also causes a problem with drainage and causes flooding, which I also read in the news today. There was record flooding in the UK this last year. Now, what is your stand on the UK being in the UN, being part of the United Nations?
Well, we know about the UN, don't we? We know that they actually started wars for this to further their agenda, United Nations.
So if you were in power, would you withdraw from the UN?
Well, we'll just make sure everyone eats. That's all we're going to do.
Okay.
And that would be a 100% improvement for the rest of the human race for the rest of its life. That's a fact.
Yes.
Everyone's got to eat. We all have equal right to the food supply.
Yes.
This trick was in place before we were even born. We were born to this captivity when we've woken up inside it, and it's wrong. And that's it.
I know it was all done before I was born.
Idiots who are trying to tell me how to behave.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay, and what about the UK staying as one country? I know Scotland wants to leave the UK, and that seems to be a big concern to a lot of people. So do they have a lot of impact on the English and Welsh and Northern Ireland economy in general? Scotland, is that going to be a big deal if they leave?
Well, they're having to suffer the idiots that we're having to suffer. Everybody's having to suffer a small minority of complete fools, like very rich, manipulative demons. You know, these bunkers and
the people who refer to themselves as the wealthy elite.
Yeah, the Illuminati, Freemasons, Bilderberg Group, and the Centre of Foreign Affairs, the Club of Rome, you know, these kind of people.
And I'm here interviewing you today because I'm an independent person, and independent media hasn't given you any coverage whatsoever.
No. And I've done political acts in the past. Like the first child casualty was announced in Iraq, and we already knew that there was an illegal war, that they were trying to pull the wood over our eyes with all this Saddam Hussein stuff. We knew a long time before all this. And when they announced the first child casualty, one of my teachers said to me, now is the time for civil disobedience. So I went and robbed a bank. Which is not the best of things, but at the time I was so outraged and angry that they were actually doing this. And so the first bank I went into, unarmed, unmasked, but what I wanted to say to the people was, like, this isn't a robbery, and you know damn well this isn't a robbery. What you're actually doing in Iraq is a robbery. and you're going to arrest me now and make a big fuss about this, but you're not going to let me speak the truth about what you're really doing, you know. So I went to rob a bank, and the first bank I went into, the woman went, "Stop being silly and get out." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." But then eventually, because I was determined, I managed to get some lady in the bank. She went, "Okay, how much?" And I said, £48. And she counted out £48, like almost smiling at me. And I thanked her, because I knew then I'd get at least a chance to go to court.
Right.
So that I'd be able to stand there without people being able to touch me in public and be able to speak what I knew about this Iraq war, that we should not be there, we should not be shooting at children, you know, we shouldn't even be using oil, and we knew all about this. So what they did is they declared me crazy. They got a psychiatrist to declare me crazy. They locked me up in a mental hospital until such time that I won an appeal to get out.
Right.
And then I found myself like 2 or 3 weeks later, after robbing a bank, you know, I was fully prepared to do 8 years or, you know, whatever it would have been. If I wasn't allowed to speak at court, it was just like an experiment. I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
They declared me crazy. Then I won an appeal in front of a panel of professionals saying I wasn't crazy. Right. And it was just coercion. This is just what it's been all the way down the line, like coercion by supposedly responsible adults trying to shut me up about things that I cannot shut up about. Wish I could.
Well, that seems to be a trend in society in these times that we live in, is people that are considered dissidents or not pro-system, they get discredited, charged with crimes, set up on drug scandals. Any politician that seems good and may be helpful always seems to suddenly there's a charge of being homosexual against them, or child molester, and I'm just wondering, do you worry about something like that happening to you or Mr. Fritz or Mr. Patel, being that you're trying to buck the system, so to speak?
Well, we're just trying to make the world a better place for all human beings. This racist little shithole needs to have some fresh ideas. We can't live here like this while our brothers are being mistreated like that. You know, the treatment of the black people in this country is wrong. Wrong. It's completely wrong. It's racist. You know, from day one, from the schools all the way through the whole of their lives, they're being mistreated blatantly and, you know, murdered in custody. You had 3 murders in custody, 3 deaths in custody in a doctor's surgery. You would think, well, that doctor's quite incompetent. And
this is just of black people, or?
Yeah, well, not just black people. Many people are murdered in custody, but you see significantly higher amounts of black people are brutalised and actually murdered in custody. And in a custody situation, there is not. You have like a group of supposedly trained, disciplined officers. You know, there is no need for one person to die in a struggle. No. In that one situation, in such a disciplined situation, one death would be suspicious. How did this person die in custody?
Well, this should.
What is the story you're telling us? How did this person die in custody?
This should.
3 deaths, 10 deaths. Then you think 10 deaths. Wow, that seems very suspicious. 1,000 deaths. That's mass murder that's going on, you know. Ask any black person. We can get Fritz to speak on it.
This is something that...
He'll tell you the truth for 2 minutes.
Something that will probably disturb you then. Theresa May has cleared the way for American police to come over here and lead your departments and train your officers.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, they're I've been to America. You know, they get you down on the floor with a gun, you know, while you're thinking they're asking you nice questions, and the next thing you realise you're actually on the floor with guns pointing at you.
I just saw this video recently of some police in America that actually, one of the officers emptied his whole gun into an African American gentleman, and then reloaded a new clip into his gun and shot the guy twice in the head after he'd shot him about 11 times already.
Yes, and there's many.
And that's what you have to look forward to over here if Theresa May has her way, evidently.
Things have changed, yeah. You can't give these people guns. They're already like untrustworthy, massively untrustworthy. And also the implications of the what they're calling it an ID card. Well, some of us have done a lot of research on this. If you had even a halfway trustworthy police force that was even halfway trustworthy, this would still be giving them too much power over people's lives, over the public's lives. And people say, well, if you've got nothing to hide, then why should you worry about an ID card? That's not our call. What we're saying is the people who are trying to force this on us are inherently untrustworthy. You know, we don't want these people with all that power over our lives.
Why do they feel like they need to know so much about each individual? I think sometimes is a question that some people don't ask. Why do they want to have all this power over everyone?
And especially if we find out some of the things that these people who are proposing these things actually do get up to.
Now, I know one good thing here in the UK is that you guys are pretty outspoken about genetically modified foods and Monsanto Corporation. Will you work to keep them out of the UK? You know about Monsanto Corporation.
The carcinogens and all that.
And all the genetically modified food, the genetically modified corn that has been processed. Well, it's got insect repellent in it, and some of the Monsanto seeds will not even sprout unless you treat them with Roundup, which is a weed killer.
Right.
It's very dangerous, very toxic.
Yeah.
So
carcinogenic.
I as you know, I've already told you I'm not eligible to vote in the UK. But I'm doing this to make other people aware that you guys are trying to...
They have a choice,
they have a choice.
A definite choice.
And so I know you're independent. You guys, is there a party, or is it the UK Independent Party? Is it Green Party?
We're called the Straight Swap Party, which is a straight swap. There's three of us. We've got other members of Cabinet who exist. You can perhaps get interviews with them. There's a guy in Aberystwyth, there's another guy in Leicester, who both said they will be members of my cabinet. I asked many people get their votes already.
Right.
Loads have,
And there's some place you have here in Wigston where people can go and vote to
the library's just over there.
The library. So tell them about that.
Mine's on my window. Look.
Tell them about that in case they don't know where to go. And so can they go to...
Just say it, Rosen and Fritz, that is mine. That is actually, I went and got this from the official place. I would like my vote, please. And Rosen and Fritz.
You need to get another one that was kind of faded.
That's the win.
Can they go to any library?
Any library, any council offices. I've met people in council offices all over this country. People,
and they can go and say, I want to vote.
They get their vote. That is their vote. If you accept the circus, if you accept blatantly that they're giving you a closed shop and the only choice you're ever going to get is what they give you, that's a waste of a vote. So I would go secure my vote and say, no way, that's a fucking rip-off. I'm not having that. I would rather vote for anything at all that's different. Let alone somebody with better ideas who doesn't despise children and black people.
I'd vote for Roosevelt to be American president again, and he's dead. I mean, to me, that's how desperate things are in America. And I don't get involved in politics here too much because I get involved in American politics, but I'm not that involved in UK politics because I'm not eligible, as I'm not a citizen of this country. But I do find all politics fascinating because people think that politicians run countries, and they don't. Politicians, they're making a career off of you, taxing you and living off of you. Politicians were meant...
Made of ideas, and the ideas are behind them.
They were meant to come and do a job and then go home, and then let somebody else come and do the job and go home.
So in an ever increasing...
And they don't do it.
Efficient system. No, they stay in the same drudge agenda.
Yes.
Trying to force us off with more and more blatant atrocities.
And I see it not just in America, but around the world, and it's certainly disturbing.
Oh yes.
So
said if you don't involve yourself in politics, you find yourself getting ruled by evil men.
Yes.
And we all know.
So that's why I'm a little involved. I wouldn't say I'm a big involved person. I try, do what I can do, but I've always been one of those people that feel like people don't really listen to me, so I feel a lot of times it's a waste of breath on my part.
All it is,
Yeah.
And we have to start to strengthen ourselves, because there is a lot of people that are not satisfied with what we're being fed. We're being lied to blatantly. We shouldn't even have war. That should be a very last option, not the flipping. They plan them on purpose to steal things. And they use our troops, and these troops get brain damage. They come back shell-shocked.
Missing
When the
limbs.
truth comes out, they find out what they've really been involved in. It's this, it's terrible.
Well,
they left them all in America. I've seen all these vets from Vietnam, like you see in the films, but they really are there. They're in the streets with legs blown off, homeless, junkies, And these people went and supposedly fought for a country that says, yeah, cheer the troops and all that, but really, you don't cheer the troops. You just bloodthirsty,
Well,
not the Americans, because the British blame the Americans anyway.
Everybody claims that.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if people got to know real Americans like me, they would find out how just
Bob Dylan and Jack Kerouac are both absolute heroes.
How anti-war the American people are. I don't want to be going around the world shooting anybody.
Exactly.
I don't feel like it's my place or our place as a country, but like I said, people there don't listen to me. So. Any last points you want to make before we?
I haven't started.
Go ahead. Talk away.
We'll have to get some weed and we'll have more. You know what I mean? Another time, I'll see if I can get Rupesh or Fritz to come along.
Well, I was going to say.
One of the ministers.
So is that something then that you guys will legalize?
Everyone will eat. Everyone will eat on this planet, and that would be a brand new day, a better day for everybody.
And so, what about the state of cannabis? Is that going to be legal?
Yeah, of course. It's a medicine. It's a valuable foodstuff.
Okay.
You can use it for shelter.
And
use it for all the fuel needs of all people on the earth.
I was going to say, what about promoting it as a fuel and a building material?
It is.
I know it is.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand
it's the most
that.
hardy plant we have. The seeds contain so much nutrients. The seeds is so every human on earth could have a glass of seeds every day, and that's everything your body would need. It's full of goodness and nutrients, amino acids, omegas, all of the things your body needs that you can find in any other derivative of nutrition. You can find from the hemp seed. It contains so much goodness.
Well, I think especially people in America, maybe not so much over here in UK and Europe and places, but people in America should ask themselves why your government wants to keep cannabis illegal so much, and why they want alcohol legal and petroleum.
Yes.
Well, my thought on that is cannabis is something everyone could grow in their yard. You could process the fibers of it yourself and make your own clothes. So then the textile industry and the clothing stores don't want you to do that.
Cotton, which uses so much significantly more water. It bleaches the earth. Like an acre devoted to hemp uses like a teaspoonful, whereas an acre devoted to cotton uses all, and the food, the wood mills and all that stuff uses like thousands of gallons of water. There's no need to use so much water, and then they complain 3 miles away that they're in drought.
Paper can be made from hemp material, building supplies, fuel to run cars, medicine
for your cows. For your chickens. Throw them a few seeds.
And that's part of the real crux that's been holding the whole world back.
Yeah, and it makes people peaceful in it.
They keep things like this illegal so the drug cartels can make massive amounts of money off of it.
Cancer.
And you can't save money by making your own clothes out of it or making your own food.
Yeah.
So maybe I've always said in America it's something they should legalize and tax if they really want to get out of debt. Stop funding wars, legalize cannabis in America, tax it, pay off the debt.
They're not in debt anyway. Don't let them fool you. There's rich countries on earth. There's about 8 of them. They've now said this is the G20, but there's about 8 hardcore rich countries on earth who are holding all the rest in debt. Colonial debt. They went there back in the past. They were subjugated, plundered the land, and then left them in debt after they came back, and then so they can go and pick what they want at any time, and then they collect money here from all the good, well-meaning people to help people in abject poverty because of these debts. And then any money that actually gets fired at them anyway comes straight back from the force field, from the debt.
Well, I can tell you all about the colonialization of America because I am part Native American.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing for me. If it hadn't happened, I wouldn't exist. But a lot of my people on both sides were killed. whites and
Massacred.
natives alike. But I know I wouldn't exist if it hadn't happened, so that's something that, as a person, I have to deal with and make my own peace. And what about the skyrocketing cost of utilities? Something that's hitting a lot of people in the UK hard.
Well, yeah, because they're finding ways to keep people's spending ability down, but the prices, people are getting poorer and poorer. They're trying to cause riots and things like that. That's definitely what they want.
Are you in favor then of, say, if you guys were in charge, would you regulate the amount of profit that these businesses
Well,
could
we'll get
make?
rid of money, basically. We have to try something else.
Okay.
This money is a corrupt, unfair. It's been proven and exposed to be the scam that it is. They make it out of fresh air. We've seen how the Federal Reserve work and these bankers, and they could, if they conceivably wanted to, they could fund anything. They could fund hospitals, education. They could fund the most high rate, books and pencils for all the hospitals and schools, as well as all the wars. Because it's a lie. The money doesn't actually exist. It's figures on a bank screen. They make it up. It doesn't exist. If everybody said, right, okay, I want this specific money now, please, it wouldn't exist. It's a lie. It's a blatant lie. So it's how much we want to be lied to. That's the thing.
There was one time in my life I had a bunch of money in the bank a long time ago. Went to ask for it all at once, and it took days to get it.
Well,
Yeah, because they don't want to give it back to you.
Yeah, well, that's another point. Yeah, they don't. It's harder to get your own money out of your account than anything.
Yeah.
You have to have about 35 pieces of ID just to get your own money out of your own account when the people even know you.
And so what would you do? How would would they get
And they
credit?
target vulnerable people. If you're poor,
Yes.
you get charged for being poor, so you've got less money to the week after to face what you couldn't afford the week before, and then they charge, so you've got even less money, so it's ever decreasing, and they charge you like massive amounts of money for being 30p in debt.
And just to be clear, you're not proposing implanted microchips.
No.
Okay.
I will not have an ID card, let alone a microchip.
Okay.
I will, whatever happens on this earth, I will not have an ID card from these people.
I will not have
They're
a
not trustworthy. I
microchip.
will not allow that to come through me.
Okay.
Let alone the microchip, remote control gun rampages. They can mess with your frequencies and things like that.
I would like to interview you again, and I will have a list of questions. This is kind of my first, I'd say, political interview that I've ever done.
Thank you very much for coming round.
And I do want to get the word out to make other people aware they can go
You've got
to
a choice. You've got a choice.
You have a choice.
Lots of lads have in this country so far. Proper lads like.
And do you have a contact? If people want to contact you, how do they get in touch with Mr. Rosen to tell them?
I'm always in a place called the Black Dog.
Okay.
Where we smoke weed, and people come down there and smoke. I've got a minister down there who I've known for a long, long time, who is a very thoughtful and nice lad. Everybody knows him. His name's Ben. He goes down there, and we all go down there and smoke weed. We don't really drink. And there's a lot of good people sort of come down, we mix down there, and that's where you can always find me.
It's weird. My first job ever in the UK was at the Black Dog.
In Oakley?
Yeah.
We're always there, we smoke weed down there.
Yeah, I worked there 3 or 4 months, so I thought it would be a good way to integrate into the society to work in a pub, because it's...
in British society,
yeah.
that's really what... And they're trying to shut down all the local pubs. They're trying to turn them all into faceless, soulless, what they call Firkin pubs, not Firkin pubs, the Witherspoon pubs.
Yeah.
They were the first ones
Grub
to ban
pubs.
smoking. You could smoke in the pub, but they actually drew a line at the bar, so you can't smoke behind that line, How pathetic. And then they stopped music, and they're making them soulless places.
Pubs were the smoker's place. And real quickly, I just want to point out here, banning smoking, I know everyone says it's bad for you and all that, is legalized discrimination, because you are discriminating against a group of people who have been programmed by society to have a habit that pays a lot of taxes and keeps things going, and yet you want to legally discriminate against them.
And you want to ban them in the places you sell them.
Yeah.
It's hypocrisy.
It is.
When I first found out they'd done this in Ireland, I flew to Ireland specifically to light a cigarette in a public place.
Nice.
And I did. I went to a night.
Did you get arrested?
No. The glass collector collected a glass. Oh, you know, everyone's split. I sat on my own in this bar in Dublin. The glass collector collected a glass from my table. The bouncer walked by. Nobody said a word. I put the cigarette out, and then about 8 people came up to me and went, "Oh, that was great." And I was like, "Yeah."
People are scared.
Mind control.
And sometimes it takes somebody willing to put themselves out there in the line of fire.
True.
You know. All right.
And I know that everyone should eat.
Everyone should eat.
For a fair day. How can you have a World Cup if all the world ain't in it? That's bullshit.
Look, they're after the power, and the power comes through your belly, and they know that if they can starve people 3 or 4 days, they have them right where they want them.
Yeah, and the poor man will take the penny every time. Read my book.
Yeah, that's right. Real quick, before we go, wrap this interview up today, because we will do another
The
one.
library have prevented it as well so far.
And we will get Mr. Fritz and Mr. Patel and talk to them as well. But Mr. Rosen has a book. It's called Can I Have a Go? And it is available at the Tin Drum bookstore on Narber Road in Leicester.
And Lulu.
And Lulu.
If you Google it, it does come up. So.
Yes, and it's called Can I Have a Go? By David Rosen. This is JB Fain signing off for today, but we will be back, and we will talk to Mr. Rosen and Mr. Fritz and Patel and the people who want to be on their cabinet when they...
With better ideas that we have, much better ideas for all of you.
This was an impromptu, we just met recently.
Yes.
And I got his book, and he was telling me about it. Is it there?
Yeah.
Just hand it over real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, mine.
Yes.
Okay, yes, we met because we both have books. This is my book, Patty the Pelican Survives the Storm, and it's a guide that parents and teachers can use to teach children about hurricane preparedness. And you can order that on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles online in America, and I don't know, just type it in and you'll find it.
I'll let you know next interview what it's like. I haven't read it yet, but I only got it last week.
Oh, hand it back to me. I'll show him a picture on the inside. My friend Carol in Texas did the artwork, and here's a nice picture. Patty, the main character of the book, he is coming home from the beach where he's been with his friends, and his mom is watching the news, and the news is telling him there's a hurricane coming and you need to evacuate. So that's the lovely artwork. I don't know how well you can see that, but my friend Carol did that, and I think she's quite brilliant. And she also, does donates a lot of her art to be auctioned off for a charity called Save the Girl. Actually, it's Save the Girl or Rescue the Girl, and I apologize, can never remember it. But it rescues young girls and young ladies from being illegally abducted in some countries and taken to other countries and sold into the sex slave trade. So I applaud Carol's efforts on that, and I think that's something that everyone should be involved in, because slavery still goes on in the world. You just don't hear about it like you used to in the old days.
Yeah, the television is geared to tell us everything but
the truth.
Yes.
So turn your TVs off, get out in your neighborhood, meet people, talk to them, and find out what your local peeps are thinking, what the people who are interested in politics are thinking, and get your head out of the sand.
Yeah, and look for a better day. We've got so much potential within us as a species.
Peace.
Yeah, man. When all the world is fed, there will be peace. So.
True that.
Bless.